The no confidence motion against the Speaker of Lok Sabha is a very unusual moment that we are seeing in parliamentary politics. This very motion is a test of how much the power opposition holds, and it is not just about the tenure of an individual. It is so much about the dignity of the chair, the faith in chair, the trust in chair, which is fundamental for the democracy that we talk about. Hello everyone, welcome to Vajram and Ravi's Flash News. My name is Shubhangi Singh and today we are going to discuss in detail about Speaker of Lok Sabha, what is the mechanism for removal, but how important he is for the democratic proceedings. So let us begin with understanding that what exactly is unfolding. So as of now, the no confidence motion which was set in place a month back, it is being discussed in this present budget session, which after adjournment has started again. Now when we are talking about this very discussion, it is very essential from the context of parliamentary politics. Reason because it is about the person who is responsible for the conduct of the Lok Sabha, and not just merely as a procedural norm. He has the constitutional authority. He is known for the neutrality, he is known for the trust that is placed in him in terms of office, and when Lok Sabha is taking up such a discussion for removal of speaker, this becomes an important aspect for us as citizens to also understand. So let us begin with knowing about the constitutional basis and also what is the democratic role that Speaker of Lok Sabha plays. So when we are talking about Speaker of Lok Sabha, as I have already mentioned as well, he has a proper constitutional authority. He is not merely required for procedure, his presence is mandated by the constitution, and he is the presiding officer of Lok Sabha. Now, based on Article 93 of our constitution, Lok Sabha chooses two members to be the speaker, who will be the presiding officer and also a deputy speaker. So when we are talking about Speaker of Lok Sabha, his tenure is very closely tied to the tenure of Lok Sabha. He continues until the dissolution and also till next Lok Sabha sits up. And this is where another important term you should know, that is pro tem speaker, comes in. So when we are talking about pro tem speaker, if let's just say we are talking about the present Lok Sabha speaker, he will be present up and until there is constitution of new Lok Sabha. That means new members of parliament are coming. Now once this speaker goes out, new speaker needs to be elected, but new member of parliament need to take their oath, they need to be sworn in. Who will do that? So a temporary presiding officer of Lok Sabha is chosen. How is he chosen? It is usually the senior most member of the parliament who is given the position of pro tem speaker. He is responsible for swearing in, and after then again members choose speaker. Now this is where it is important for us to remember such terms. Questions can be asked from here as well. So when we are talking about speaker, we are clear with the tenure, but another factor that comes in here is the resignation. Now whenever he decides to resign, he addresses that resignation not to vice president, not to the president, not to the prime minister, but to the deputy speaker. And if we talk about removal, that has also a constitutional backing which is clearly present under Article 94C, which is the fundamental basis of no confidence motion that has been brought in and that is being discussed. Now I hope we have a fair clarity on what exactly is the constitutional basis for the Speaker of Lok Sabha. Now this is where we will be moving to understand his democratic rule as well. Now this is where we will be moving to understand more about his powers, and then we will come to his democratic rule. Because once we have a fair clarity in power, we will be able to understand that why we are pressing so much upon his importance for the democratic proceedings. So when we are talking about power of speaker, he is the one who has not only presiding powers, procedural powers, but also some very critical powers at his hand. When we are talking about presiding powers, he is the one who conducts the proceedings of Lok Sabha, maintains the decorum, and he can also suspend disorderly members. So when we are talking about this no confidence confidence motion which has been moved against Om Birla, one of the accusations that has been made is that he suspended members without any cause. Other than that, when we are talking about procedural powers, Speaker is responsible for deciding what kind of questions can be admitted, what kind of adjournment motions can be admitted, and what kind of no confidence motion will be taken place. Furthermore, he is the person who determines what kind of time allocation would be given to the debates. And when we talk about his voting power, he only has casting vote as per Article 100. That means he will vote only in case of a tie. That means he will not be voting in the first instance. If there is a tie in terms of members who have voted, that's where the Speaker of Lok Sabha can vote. So this is how he ensures that the continuity of legislative decision making goes on and is not paused. Now, as I mentioned, there are certain critical powers as well. So when we are talking about critical powers, we get to see that money bill certification as per Article 110, we get to see who does this certification, who certifies that this bill is a money bill. The only person to do that is the Speaker of Lok Sabha. Now, Speaker will decide if this bill is money bill or not. Whatever he or she decides is considered final, and that is why it is very significant politically, because if a bill is decided money bill, that means that has the guarantee to surpass Rajya Sabha's veto power. If it is an ordinary bill, Rajya Sabha has as much of a say as Lok Sabha itself. But money bill, Rajya Sabha's scope is limited. Can you tell me in the comment section how Rajya Sabha's scope is limited in terms of a money bill? Now, when we are talking about another critical power at the hand of Speaker of Lok Sabha is related to Anti-Defection Law. So, when we are talking about Speaker, he is the one who decides the disqualification of Member of Parliament. That means he has a quasi-judicial power. He gets to decide that if they have caused defection or not, and if the provisions of 10 schedules are being satisfied. But an important factor to remember, whatever he decides, this is not final, this is subject to judicial review as for Kihoto Hollohan case of 1992. Now, all of this does place Speaker as a very important constitutional member. In this context, we have to establish that he plays a very important role in democratic governance. How? Because when he is responsible for proceedings, maintenance of decorum, critical powers, this is where he is expected to be neutral. Because when we are talking about Lok Sabha, we have members from various parties. So he has to act above his party politics, especially once he is elected as the Speaker. Because he is not just representing himself or the party, he is not there to represent all of that. He is present there to represent the dignity of the house, that is Lok Sabha, to represent the parliamentary privileges and protect them, and also interpret the rules of procedure. So when he has critical powers, he is the final authority in procedural dispute. He is the one who stabilizes the institution of Lok Sabha if there is any political turbulence. And this whole constitutional member contribution has been brought in from Westminster model of United Kingdom, and this neutrality that we are talking about, it is enforced by convention. If we are talking about legal compulsion, there are certain countries which ask the Speaker of the Lok Sabha to resign from their political parties once they take up this position. In India, it is not a scenario because neutrality is enforced by convention. There is no legal compulsion which is present. Can you tell me in the comment section which are the countries which put up this legal compulsion on the Speaker of Lok Sabha? Now, this is where we will be moving straight up to Article 94C, which we were discussing in the very first place. Now, when we are talking about Article 94C, it directly gives us a provision that Speaker can be removed. But the process has also been mentioned. He can only be removed when a resolution will be passed by majority of all then members of House. Now, if you are talking about procedure, a notice of intention to move resolution has to be given. Then 14 days notice period is required. 50 MPs need to support the admission of this particular resolution. Then the debate in the House will happen, which is going on as of now. This was taken up on March 9 and it still continues, and then voting will take place. If the resolution is passed, Speaker has to vacate the office. During this whole procedure, Speaker cannot participate or preside. He can only speak for himself. He can only participate in terms of debate and defend his allegations. And he has to vacate the chair during these proceedings. Now, when we are talking about this proceeding, that means this particular discussion. In this particular context, this particular event, Om Birla had recused himself even before the proceeding to ensure the impartiality and continuity of the work in Lok Sabha itself. What are your thoughts on this? Let me in the comment section. That was all from my side. Thank you so much.